doctor then said, well, you're always going to have a very, extreme metabolism. So you're going to have to really eat. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just order a bunch of small clothes and gave off all these clothes and have Rubat, but who cares really? I mean, just that doesn't even matter. It's kind of like a sideline thing of like other thoughts that kind of creep up, and when I talk about it out loud, it's stupid. So that's why I'm glad I'm talking about loud, because it's stupid. So at least I got that out of the way. I worked out that problem. But so anyways, um, it's just it's been a journey, to say the least, through almost this 1 year mark, and I'm very thankful that I am alive. I'm thankful that I have a wonderful support system. I am thankful that I have made new friends. I am thankful that I found a community that supports one another. So there are a lot of good things that came out of this that far outweigh the bad. And in time, um, it will come, it will roll over to where it is like, not where I'm crying. So I do have a lot that I'm thankful for. So, and I've learned about something that I really didn't, quite understand, and then just giving me a side project, researching, trying to figure out how can I make a contribution to this stroke world and ruptured aneurysm world. What can I do? There are so many great foundations out there, that they do everything they can to pass on the message and do fundraising, because the neuroscience department passed me information and gave me the numbers on how much money is spent, per person on research when it comes to stroke, and it's just so small. And I'm like, is it because of like survivorship? Like, like, are they looking at the mortality rate? Like, is it worth it, to, put enough money into this? Like, I would like to understand more so on the other end of the spectrum of like why is that dollar amount set to that point per person, and what is the logic behind it? Like, there's so many foundations out there that get so much money that pours into them, and it's almost oversaturated. And I'm like, which is great that they've got all this awareness, but I feel like stroke and brain aneurysm it's not talked about often, and I don't think people are very aware, and I don't really think there's a lot of stuff that's been done to further research, period. I mean, thank God we've got wonderful neurosurgeons that solve that problem, you know? They have to be there to help rescue us. And if there's just more information out there about that, and I have talked about it, I've written about it, and in health class, they in the United States, they talk about like lung cancer and diabetes and hypertension, and they don't ever talk about stroke, and that, hey, like, let's take lung cancer, for instance. If you smoke, you can get lung cancer. A lot of kids might say, I'll probably be about 80 years old by the time that happens, so who cares? Well, you know what? Scare tactics. You can have an aneurysm or a stroke, for example, if you're a smoker, and you can be young. So, there's just other things too, or if drinking, like, there's more health things that contribute to stroke and ruptured aneurysms, and there needs to be more awareness. And head injuries, traumatic head injuries, what to look for. I mean, sometimes you can fall, hit your head, and it's just enough for that vessel to slowly pump. And down the line, eventually, it ruptures. And would anyone have thought that? So I feel like there needs to be more stuff out there about brain aneurysms and strokes. And I really would like to know where this money's going to, and why is it set to X amount and stuff. So, but that's part of my project that I am undertaking for this year. So basically, when I hit my 1 year mark, I am going to write a blog, and then I will do another extended video just to let you know what kind of ride I went on. And then, I have some side stuff I'm doing and helping out. And I also have stuff like that I want to start. And I will continue doing my blogs because I think that's important. And for anyone that like is fresh to the stroke world or has been in the game, I think it's great to get another perspective from someone else on what their daily struggles are. And it's a record of artifacts of from day one up to now, so you can kind of see my journey throughout everything. So I don't ever see the blogs ending. Maybe not as frequent as they were in the beginning, where I was like doing them pretty much weekly because it was very therapeutic. And more of like a monthly like blog piece. And not only that, I don't want to just like throw something out there just for the sake of throwing something out there. I want there to be substance to what I'm trying to say. That way you're getting something out of it. So I foresee, the blogs will never end. I just don't think the frequency is going to be as much. So, but I guess I'm going to end this. Like I said, I didn't have like a topic like right off the top of my head of like what I wanted to talk about. It was just going to be straight from the heart. And so I've just, this is me thinking out loud. So I apologize if it's all over the place. Because I can very easily get sidetracked in my thoughts and what I'm experiencing. Um, but you know, my overall vision in life is that I am an overthinker. I analyze everything um, pretty bad, and you can call it OCD. Um, it is. I have OCD. Um, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I think in the workforce, I think it's a great thing to have. Um, that you know that you've got someone that's really, you know, thinking of everything possible. Um, but I don't, if something comes across my way, I'm not like someone to just like kind of briefly look over something. Like I really put a lot of thought into like trying to understand what is been presented to me. Um, but I do feel like that kind of spills out into my life where um, I'm not able to enjoy things because I am playing out every worst case scenario. And that has been a problem way before my stroke. That I have this problem, and I wasn't always like this. You know, when you're in your young 20s, you think you're invincible, like, and like nothing can stop you. Like, I mean, I was a daredevil. I did all sorts of stuff. I had no cares in the world. I just was like a free spirit and did what I want, didn't care. And then, like, all of a sudden, I don't know, something snapped, and then I started playing it's self sabotaging. And so it's like I couldn't even go and have like a good moment because I was predicting every worst outcome that could ever happen. And I'm like, where am I getting this from? Like, is it because I watch too much shows that are like showcasing this? Like, I don't know where it came from, but like it's gotta stop. Like I like that's something I have to work on because I can't self-sabotage myself anymore. Like, you know, there's a fine line between being a careless person and being smart about it. And it's a middle ground that you have to figure out. So, you know, it's like I went from one extreme to the next extreme, and it's like um, this year is the year where I find the middle. I've got to allow myself to be in the moment and enjoy myself and not have this heavy weight on my shoulders of worrying about every little thing. And I know it's hard because none of us can really go out there in this world and do hardly anything right now. We're stuck. We're stuck. So it will be interesting to see that as I try to work on this better version of myself, you know, how that's going to all happen because it just depends on, you know, you know, what we can do in this world. So, um, we plan on going back to Arizona because that was very peaceful for me and much needed. So we are going back to Arizona. Um, so I hope that happens. And, you know, oddly enough, I am terrified of heights and flying, and I never used to be, but it, like, again, something snapped where all of a sudden, like, I thought every worst case scenario that I had to be medicated to get on a plane, and I would like scream if I was even anywhere like near an edge of anything. Where back when I was like 20, I could be standing at the ledge of something looking down, like, oh, that's cool. No worries. No worries. I, it's like, it's so funny. I was fearless. So when we went to Arizona, I wasn't scared of flying. I didn't need anything. Like, I don't know. It was just like, um, it was okay. And then, when we were driving through in a convertible looking down at all these like heights, I wasn't freaking out. And I was like so liberating. So I'm like, so I think I have like tapped into it a bit, and I just need to tap into it more. And I need to just be present, be protective of myself to an extent, but be present. And so I'm not one who thinks that there's someone saved for some reason over another person, because I just really don't believe in that, because too many good people have been lost. And so I'm like, I don't get why I was spared. Um, I mean, I'm not a rotten person, but I'm nothing spectacular. Um, so um, I've always been someone that will be there for you, and I'm like, I'm ready. You say, "Hey, girl, I need you." I'm there for you. So I've always been that way. Um, so I'm trying to figure out why I was spared, and I will never know why, but I am going to do everything I can with my life being saved and making a difference. And that requires a little planning, because you have to have some breaks from the stroke world. You can't think about it all the time. It cannot be your life. You cannot identify as that. It's not healthy. So there is a balancing act of just being who you are, and then making a difference too, with the helping other people out that have experienced this. And caregivers are often overlooked too, and that's hard for them as well, because for worst case scenario, it's almost like you're looking at a shell of someone you once knew, and I that's so hard, and I don't know what that looks like, and I can't even begin to understand. So um you know that's why I feel like, that's something that also needs to be tapped into more. And like I said, maybe there are a ton of these out there, and I'm just not finding them. So, but for everyone out there that has survived this, or gone through any kind of medical trauma, um, you know, feel your emotions and let it out, and don't feel guilty about it. Let it out. Don't let it consume you, but let it out. Feel free to let it out. If you need your privacy, find a spot and let it out. Sometimes you need to scream. Sometimes type it out. Don't even need to publish it. Just write it out. Talk to a friend. Something. But don't suppress your feelings. But like I said, in the same framework, you can't let it over dominate your life, because then you're stuck in this awful hole. So, and then take the opportunity of what you've learned and, put it into practice. And if you feel like you want to help and express things that you've learned that have helped, share. That's very helpful. Like, there's stuff that I found that was on no website. I just came across it on Instagram. Who would have thought? So, and I feel like some of these Google searches, and I kind of feel bad. And now that I'm getting into the world of like publishing stuff and, SEOs and everything, like, it's just an unfortunate thing. Like, like the top dogs are at the top, and that's like the information you don't need to do. So like I have like done so many like Google, like different ways of Googling things, to try to get into someone's personal blog stuff. And I know you can hit personal blog stories, but like I wish like I was more intelligent on the SEO side of it. It's something I'm learning, because this is nothing I've never done. I've never done videos. I've never posted on YouTube. Now I've got a YouTube channel with maybe one subscriber. I don't know. This is all new to me. Publishing blogs, getting a website, that's completely new to me. I never knew any of that stuff. Because that's just not anything that was of a need for me. Like, here I am, like, this is me. And before I was just, here's my life. And, and now like it's a learning experience of like, okay, so I've purchased my website, and now I need to know about tags and like SEO, and how do I get myself up there so people stumble across me, because somewhere out there there's got to be a good match of someone that needs exactly to hear what they need to hear, that's coming from someone similar. I don't know. And whenever I do everything, it's always the Mayo Clinic, Mayfield, Cleveland, you name it, top dogs, wonderful information as usual, which is why they're way up there, because they've got all the information. But it's like, gotta figure it out, like, and that's something I'm gonna learn. So I have had some assistance on helping me figure out things that I was not doing right, because I'm new to it. So I thank him for pointing some helpful tips out to me, which actually really did help. So I try my best. Not everything I do looks perfect. My blogs aren't going to look perfect. I'm not a professional writer. So whatever you read, it's just what I'm saying. You know, um, I mean, I like writing. I did write in the past, not like, a novelist or anything, but I'm nowhere by any means like a writer. My husband is, I'm not. So, you know, there's grammatical errors, there's probably stuff that doesn't make sense. I don't know, but that's just me. That's my blog. That's authentic. Hopefully, you get the gist of what I'm trying to say in these videos. Maybe it seems a little scattered, because I'm, trying to speak from the heart. I've had segments where I've had to go off my computer because I'm doing more of a statistical type information. So I need the numbers in front of me. So maybe my videos don't look great. Every day I might flood your Instagrams. And, Facebook, I've tried to like tone down, where I take a picture, of myself. And like I said, I do it because I want like to see how like I physically am progressing. And, instead of just like, hey, look at me, I put a quote on there that's very meaningful. And then, in stories, I take that picture and, not with me, but, I've gotten creative with, I think it's Canva app. And so I find a picture and I find a quote and then I mesh them together. And then, I just get creative with everything. And then, I post it and I we'll do a story with a song that kind of like goes with it. So it's all in my stories if you want to check it out of everything. So, I apologize if I flood everyone's stuff. I've had someone say that they had to hide me from the comments in Facebook because they love me, but they were getting kind of oversaturated with what I had to say. But I don't know. I just feel like not only am I going through this, but we are all going through a lot of different things globally, just a lot of things, just in different levels. And one thing is my best friend in the entire world, her father passed away after a very long battle with cancer, and he fought hard. He hung on as much as he could and made every moment matter. And I mean, he molded his daughters into very strong women. And sadly, he passed away, and his funeral was today. And it's just like all these things, and I can't even imagine. I mean, she is my best friend, and I know her, and but I'm never gonna know exactly how deep like this is like crushing her. And so it's just awful. And so point is that there's so much heaviness. It just seems so dark, of what's going on in this world. And sometimes we need a break. And that's, I may end up doing that. I may take a social media break for a while, just and away from the news, just to refresh myself and be in the moment and just enjoy the moment. And I really encourage people to do that, and take a break. It doesn't mean like you're gone forever, like you're gonna come back. I mean, you know, so, and I'm not anyone important, so I mean, you know, I'm important, but I'm not any, like, some big top or something like that. But I'm just saying, like, um, sometimes I need a break. So, and it's just hard. So, um, sorry, when I go quiet, it's because my mind is racing, and this is exactly what happens throughout the day, like, where I'm just like, sit and stare, and it's like thoughts that are racing through my head. And I try to joke as much as possible, and that's been my scapegoat for my entire life. When things are bad, I try to make fun of things or try to joke. It's a scapegoat. Um, and there's some value to that, but sometimes it's a little concerning. Um, but I do try to make light of things that happen, because I do like to joke a lot. So I'm trying to get back into finding humor into stuff, and I try to do that on my short videos where I find some humor and stuff. So, and there's a lot of humor. There really is. So I thank God for my husband. He is very funny and keeps me laughing at all times. It's like he performs every day. Every day he's performing because he likes a reaction. So, anyways, so to get back on track, I'm struggling this month, and I will struggle, and I will stay away from Facebook, I think, on the memory pop-ups, because I think maybe I start getting back on Facebook the week after I was in the hospital. Maybe later. I know that we kept things private for a moment, so I'm dreading what the Facebook memories that pop up, and I just will choose not to select it and relive anything over again. So that's a choice to make. But so, anyways, this has just been a very difficult year. It's been a good year as far as learning a new part of myself, which is being resilient and a fighter, and then the need to help others, and learning more about my emotional side too, and how I handle things. So, it's hard. Everything's hard. It has to be hard. And if it comes too easy, then you didn't succeed. And that's my motto. If it comes too easy, you didn't get it right. You didn't get it right. It's got to be hard for you to get it right, for you to really understand. So I've learned a lot. cried a lot, joked a lot. I've done everything. I've researched, I've connected, I've done a lot of stuff. I'm proud of how far I've come in this year and everything I've put into it. Um, this is just going to be a very rough month for me because it's the 1 year mark. And afterwards, like I said, I'm going to shift and, you know, um, recreate something and go from there and, you know, still learn how to heal from this. So, and try to get past the survivor's guilt and, you know, not feeling like a burden. So, and, you know, my biggest fight, though, in all honesty, is, a lot of people are out there fighting for science, and, foundations are out there, trying to raise money for awareness. So I feel my contribution, because I see the gap, is mental health. So that's what I'm going to focus on, quite honestly, is mental health. So that is the tone that I will be taking for 2021 on my blogs too, is more mental health. And I am no way a professional in any ways. I'm a professional on how I feel. So that's what I mean when I talk about mental health, is I am exposing my mental health journey through 2021. Now, along with some other stuff, but as I always say, because I have to have this disclaimer, is that, when you are feeling this way, you should not be handling this by yourself. You have to look into a psychiatrist, psychologist, or a licensed therapist, because they are there for you and they can help you out. Now, your psychiatrist, he will give you medication, he or she, I apologize, that will level you out. Psychologists will give you techniques to work on, cognitive behavior therapy, so forth. They will give you the tools. A therapist, they're there for you to let it all out, instead of having to let it all out to like a family member where they're like, I've had enough. So it's kind of how those different components play in. So nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Nothing wrong. Too much of a stigma is on mental health, and I just laugh at that, because it's like, our mental health is every day. It's every day. Mental health doesn't mean that you are like on a low. Mental health is also on a high. So